for you as interleague play continues tonight at Coors Field. No tarp on the field, and we're going to get this one started on time after plenty of rain 24 hours ago. The Rockies won last night 5-3. They're now 31-30. The Toronto Blue Jays are 34-28. Well, the weather remains sketchy, but there looks like a nice window to get this one in, at least at the outset. It is cool. The temperature just 50 degrees right now, and the forecast obviously includes scattered showers that will run into tomorrow. Hi once again, everybody. Good evening. With my partner Jeff Houston, I'm Drew Goodman. Yesterday, the Rockies won in 6 innings, 5-3. Ubaldo Jimenez is now 12-1. Jason Hamill will take the baseball tonight. We'll talk more about him in a little bit. The Rockies reintroduced themselves to the home run last night. How about that?
Kind of nice after not seeing it for a few days here at Coors Field, but they were able to do it last night. And who would have thought in that weather that we saw that the ball would be flying like it was? Of course, Ryan Spilborgh's early in the ball game, and then Clint Barmas with the double. He seems to always come up with the big hit to kind of put the offense in motion. And it was one of those nights last night that you saw the Carlos Gonzalez home run as well. And they picked up Ubaldo Jimenez a little bit, only because of the weather. The landing strip there for the pitchers wasn't very good, but the offense came alive, and they were able to get some runs and add on runs, which was very nice. And Ryan Spilborgh's, because of his performance last night, 3 for 3, Jim Tracy says he deserves another shot today, and he's going to get another start, which is nice to see, because you are going to need his bat in the lineup at some point where he's going to have to go out there and play 4, 5, 6 days in a row.
Yeah, he's 7 for 11 against lefties of late, but he's going to face a right-hander tonight, but you got to play the hot bat, especially with an offense that has been struggling. Troy Tulowitzki will not be in the lineup tonight. He is iffy for tomorrow. Evidently, last night on a slide, a very, very slight groin strain, and we don't even want to put it up on a graphic. It's very, very slight. With the wet conditions tonight, Jim Tracy, Keith Duggar, the head athletic trainer, said, you know what, he's going to sit this one out.
Smart, because you don't want to lose this guy for 2 weeks. I mean, sit him for a day or two maybe instead of 1 to 2 weeks. That's the whole thing. That's why they're sitting him out tonight.
Okay. When we come back, we'll talk pitching. The Rockies getting ready for the Blue Jays. Jason Hamill will have the Rock. favorite views from City Park Golf Course, the mountains in the background, and the Denver skyline. We're at Coors Field, game 2 of this 3-game set. Interleague play continuing, the Rockies and the Toronto Blue Jays with Jeff Houston. I'm Drew Goodman. Pitching matchup, easy for me to say, tonight between Jason Hamill and a very hard thrower, Brandon Morrow, the former Seattle Mariner. Hamill's in a great place of late.
Well, he really is. You think back to his last couple starts, he's pitched 14 innings, only given up a 1 run during that time, including zeros against the Houston Astros in his last start, and that's a good thing for Hamill. Since he's come back from the DL, he's 3-1 with an ERA just above 3. He's able to locate that fastball when he wants to be able to get to those hard-breaking pitches, the sliders, and he's really trusting his stuff now. He's had 3 walks, 8 strikeouts in those 14 innings, and getting back to that Jason Hamill that we're used to seeing from previous years and what he was able to do in the second half of last year. He's got to go out there tonight against Morrow, though, because that guy throws hard for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, we'll talk more about Morrow in a little bit, but he has a big disparity in numbers. Good at home, not so good out on the road. Hopefully that trend continues tonight. We're ready to go. We assume you are as well. Rockies and Blue Jays, rain, rain, go away. Come on back to Coors Field. Quest high-speed internet. Get blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. Buy E470. E470 is easy to use and adds value to your life. Buy the Ford Super Duty. Built stronger, tougher, better. Built Ford Tough. Drive one. Rockies snapped a 3-game losing streak last night. They're just 2-3 on this homestand as they get ready for a Saturday night special with the Toronto Blue Jays. There's Fred Lewis, the former San Francisco Giant. He's enjoying his time so far in the American League. He has 19 doubles in addition to a solid .279 average. Does not walk much, as you can see by his on-base percentage. Let's take a look at the rest of Cito Gaston's lineup presented by Southwest.com. Aaron Hill homered last night against Ubaldo Jimenez, just his 3rd home run that Ubaldo's given up this year. Then Jose Batista, he's got 18 bombs. Vernon Wells right about the 300 mark. Alex Gonzalez, Lyle Overbay had a run-scoring triple last night. He's come on in the month of June. Edwin Encarnacion, the former Cincinnati Red, is in there at 3rd base tonight in the 7-hole. Jose Molina of the Catching Molina brothers will bat 8th, and then Brandon Morrow And here's a scouting report on Jason Hamill.
Fastball 90 to 95, curveball, slider, changeup. 5 starts since Jason came off the DL. He's 3-1 with a 3 ERA, 6 walks, 29 strikeouts. All that despite only getting about 3 runs per start.
Well, first pitch is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Text keyword pizza followed by a space and your name to 95323 to receive your Domino's special offer and to be entered to win a pizza party for 15. One weekly winner will be chosen. The official game time temperature is 51 degrees. Here's the 1-0, and that's at the knees for a strike. Hang with Tim McClellan. He's one of the game's best umpires, and he lets you know if you're the hitter and the catcher. Obviously, we can't hear him. His strike call oftentimes visibly takes a little while to see. This ball driven to the gap and off the glove of Spilborghs. It'll be a double for Lewis. Ryan got a nice break on the baseball, got leather to it, could not haul it in, and that's double number 20 for Fred Lewis.
I kind of think Ryan would like to have that one back. He did get a good jump on it. And Fred Lewis drove it that way. Ryan reaches up and it just goes off the outstretched glove and arm of Ryan. He thought he had it. You see him look into his glove just for a second. He thought it might have gone into that webbing.
Yep, he thought he did catch that. So now Aaron Hill at the plate. Just a $188 for Hill. 9 home runs. He was ninth last night. A 2-run shot against Ubaldo that gave Toronto a short-lived 3-2 lead. And he pops this one up in foul ground. Helton's not going to have a play though. Here are the Rockies defensively. Spilborghs is in left. Carr goes in center. Brad Hopp is in right. Ian Stewart at third. And Clint Barmas is not at second. He's at short. And Johnny Herrera at second tonight with Todd Helton at first base. Miguel Olivo behind the plate. Troy Tulowitzki again sitting this one out with a very, very mild groin strain. Luxury of having a guy like Barmas and now Herrera, 2 guys that can play shortstop and play it well, not just, you know, plug a gap for a couple of days.
Yeah, or lose anything defensively when you need that double play turned. Is it going to be something that it's a question mark? It's not. To have a guy like Clint to be able to slide over to shortstop and then Johnny over at second, don't lose a whole lot.
Hamill ahead of Hill, 2 strikes. We described it for you last night. Toronto is a free swinging club. They have 99 home runs after Hill's bomb last night. That's 18 more than the Boston Red Sox, who are second in all of baseball in home runs. But they punch out a lot. Not a lot of walks for Cito Gaston's club. Here's the 0-2.
They strike out about once every 4 times as a team. Almost 500 strikeouts and just a little over, real close to 2,100 at bats.
Yeah, since Cito took over, and J.P. Ricciardi is gone as a general manager. Go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking, I don't think something's right with Jason Hamill right now. I think he might have tweaked that groin again.
Oh, man, you just hope not. Now here comes Jim Tracy on his way to the mound.
Well,
Scott Garrett is out there.
It looked like after the first or second pitch that he threw to Aaron Hill, when he got the ball back, he kind of shook his leg a little bit.
And you may see Franklin Morales get up very quickly. I'm seeing movement down in the Rockies bullpen. Frankie would be the long haul guy.
There's Franklin getting those arms loose. He must be okay.
Well, he's looking out there. Hamill's going to stay in there. But here's the good news, at least in terms of the conditions right now. It was misting. Batting practice was not held. Everybody hit indoors. But the mound is dry. And last night, Ubaldo, for those wondering, hey, what was wrong with Ubaldo? His velocity was down a little bit. It all had to do with the landing area. He's not going to reach back if he's unsure if his spikes are going to slide or not. Here's the 0-2. Up and in. We're going to watch Hamill closely. I was starting to say that Toronto's kind of remade how they do business just in 2 years. 2 years ago, they had maybe the best pitching staff in baseball when Roy Halladay was up there. A.J. Burnetto's now at the Yankees. They allowed the fewest runs in all of baseball. And they didn't hit many home runs. They were 21st in 2008 in Major League Baseball in home runs. Now they're #1. Swung on and missed. What you always worry about with a pitcher when he has a leg injury, does he compensate, and then are you affecting the shoulder, the arm in some way?
Yeah, that's always the biggest concern, and that's why a lot of times you'll get those pitchers out if they're not feeling good, because those legs are so important. You mentioned Ubaldo last night, not being able to land like he wanted to. That caused a couple miles an hour off his fastball. And we'll just keep an eye on it for Jason the rest of the ball game. You know, maybe he caught a spike too when he did that little inside move out at the second base. There's so many different things that could have happened, and maybe it's just one of those things where he just felt something, but then it went away quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those deals, though, that I think's kind of lingered. He went on the DL with it. He came off, and he felt it again. He said as much after one of his starts. Here's the 0-1 on Batista, and this is line to center field. Cargo going back, and he'll have it. And Tang trying to move up, and Lewis will be able to. That ball, when you set up the double cut, and somehow that was a tweener between Barmes and Herrera. Otherwise, I think they cut Fred Lewis down.
Oh, they do, but Fred took off when he saw where the throw was going, because he is halfway, then he goes back and tags, and then once he sees the ball over the top of Clint Barmes' head, that's when he continued to go. I mean, he's halfway, he goes back, he tags up. Right now, he's not real convicted to go until he sees where the flight of the ball is. And it's a tough double cut there for Jonathan Herrera, because he's got to stay at the bag in case they're able to cut it off. Somebody's got to be there.
Vernon Wells at the plate. Vernon had an opposite field double that almost went out of the ballpark yesterday. His 23rd double of the year. That leads the American League. That he's in there for a strike, 1-1. Velocity for Hamill, 92, 93. We'll see Jason run it up, as Jeff described, into the mid-90s. He's in a real good place. He's very confident.
Confident with the breaking pitch, too.
And this is a flare to help, and he's going to work out of it. A leadoff double by Fred Lewis, no harm done. Kind of limp jogging off the mound. We'll check on him in a bit. And with Troy Tulowitzki not in the lineup tonight, Jonathan Herrera will bat leadoff, not unfamiliar territory in his professional career. Todd Helton back in the 2-hole, third straight ball game there. Cargo shifts to the 3 spot. He's done a lot of that role, or playing in that role, in his career at the professional level, leading to the big leagues. Brad Hopp, Ryan Spilborghs, Miguel Olivo, 6 for his last 14. Ian Stewart, Clint Barmes, and then Jason Hamill. Let's take a look at the scouting report on Brandon Moore, who was the 5th pick in the 2006 draft.
193 to 100 on the fastball, slider. Curveball is his second best pitch. He likes to spike that one going down, and just a handful of changeups. He's started to sacrifice a little bit of velocity now that he's a starter to get more control, because that has been part of his issue with 35 walks on the season.
Now the first pitch is wide of the strike zone at 93. This is a kid that nobody can figure out what to do with. When he was with Seattle, they started him, then they made him a late guy. In fact, he was a closer for a while. Then they changed late last year and put him back in the rotation, and he actually had some good starts in the month of September. They trade him to Toronto, and Toronto initially wasn't sure what they were going to do with him.
Yeah, but now they've told him, you know what, you're our guy. You're going to be a starter. Doesn't matter what happens out there. Don't look over your shoulder. It reminds me a lot of Jason Hamill when he came over. All of a sudden, what was he doing in Tampa Bay? Starting, relieving, then not quite sure what was going to happen. Cito Gaston said, he's my guy. Just go out there and start. Don't worry about if you have a bad outing.
Good location there. It's 2-2 on Herrera. Jonathan, a native of Venezuela, chatted with him before the ball game. Just because this is the first time he's in the one hole in the big leagues, it's familiar territory for him. I mean, throughout his amateur days and his professional days, that's where he hit. That's a foul ball.
Well, being a switch hitter for Jonathan, that allowed him to do that, to hit leadoff a lot of times.
Let's take a look at that 06 draft. It was pitching heavy, if you recall. Luke Hochevar from the state of Colorado, Fowler, went #1 to Kansas City. Second time he went #1. Greg Reynolds, who's been battling some injuries and actually is throwing the ball well down under for the Rockies. And Evan Longoria has turned into a big-time star in Tampa. Brad Lincoln's going to the big leagues.
Yeah, he just made his first start, or is going to, for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
3-2. And then Morrow, Andrew Miller, Clayton Kershaw out of high school with the Dodgers. And Tim Lincecum went 10th to the Giants. A lot of big-time arms in that draft. Here's the 3-2 on Herrera. And this is a flare to short. Gonzalez will make the catch. Let's take a look at the Jays on defense. They play good defense. In fact, the last 2 years they've led the American League defensively, and they're among the leaders again this year in picking up the baseball. Lewis, Wells, and Batista in the outfield. Batista was at third yesterday, and Encarnacion's there tonight. Gonzalez, Hill up the middle, Overbay at first, and a very, very good receiver who can throw in Jose Molina.
Part of the Name the Molina trio.
He's in there to Todd, strike one. You played for a long time with Benji. Benji's the best offensive player. You played with Jose.
Yeah, well,
also,
they were together yeah,
right.
in Anaheim.
Well, I want to get your assessment, because I've talked to some people. That misses 1-1. Benji, best hitter.
Yes. Yes.
Yadier, by far the best receiver, and that's not to knock these two guys, because Jose can catch.
Right.
But Yadier all around the best of the three.
I would agree, because he has a little bit of speed compared to the other two, but he can do it all, and I think Jose's found his niche at the big league level, being that second backup guy. Benji and Yadier have had the opportunity to be everyday guys, but Jose's found out it's okay to be a backup catcher at the big league level when you can do all the things that he can do.
Sure. I was talking to Mark Strittmatter, who doubles as the bullpen catcher and also catching instructor for the Rockies. He said for him, the best defensive catcher in baseball is Yadier, and seconds far down the road. This is popped up, and Encarnacion is going to make the catch. 2 outs. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Carlos Gonzalez, a couple of hits last night, including his 9th home run of the year. A bullet to right. From now until June 30th, replay any of your non-winning scratch tickets and a second chance drawing. Enter your tickets at coloradolottery.com. So Gonzalez, who leads the club in RBIs, out of his familiar leadoff spot, hitting a spot that I think for the majority of his career, when we look back 20 years from now, will be spent in the 3-hole.
Well, and I think they're doing it the right way as far as not force feeding him that number 3 spot right now. The way the lineup is constructed, everything that's going on. Let him kind of work his way in there, and then eventually he will be that guy, just to be solidified there so he can hit righties, lefties, it doesn't matter. And by the way, Lincoln did start Thursday at Washington. 6 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs.
It's a beginning.
Yes.
2-strike count on Cargo. And he slices the slider into the seats, and I think that guy made the catch. He did. Nice job.
Yeah. Be aware if you're sitting in that front row. Especially with all the left-handers in the lineup tonight, with Morrow and how hard he throws. That last pitch, 97 miles an hour.
Yeah, he reached back for a little something more. He wants a shake off. Now he wants a slider.
Try to get the hitter to overthink.
And a broken bat roller to Aaron Hill. 1-2-3 start for Brandon Morrow. We'll go to the second inning. No score at Coors Field. Toronto's in town. Top of the second inning, no score. Time for the Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game. It's Saturday night, so our Sweet 16 of ballpark food continues. Text your answers to 95323. Which is your favorite, peanuts or seeds? Sunflower seeds. Rocks 1 for peanuts, rocks 2 for sunflower seeds. Show this text at Breaks Plus in June. Receive an oil change and filter, rotate balance of tires, and front wiper blades for only $50 at Breaks Plus. 1-0 on Alex Gonzalez. Let's take a look at the bracket so far. What was last week? Burgers beat chicken last week. That's right. Beat him handily.
Well, really no surprise so far.
Jason Hamlet, 6'6", reaches up on the soft liner and makes the catch.
Well, it wasn't hit that hard, and I've seen these balls get by the pitcher and not even get out to the dirt and be sitting there for an infield single, and Jason was able to reach back, jump high, and stretch that body out. Well, if there's any question about that groin or whatever was going on in that first inning, I think it might have been answered right there. I think he's okay.
Let's hope so. Lyle Overbay, 17 for his last 39 at the plate. Moved his average up from below 200 into the mid-230s.
lot of Overbay early on is that front foot. He wasn't getting it closed and in the proper hitting position, was staying open.
2-0.
He's gotten back to trying to stay square back to the pitcher.
Got two kids from the state of Washington facing each other here. That's a strike. 2-1. Hamels from Washington now makes his home in Massachusetts. 2-2 on Lyle Overbay, the former Arizona Diamondback. Stick around this game long enough, most guys are former somebody.
Yeah, very few stayed with their club the entire career.
Johnny Herrera slid over about 2 steps on that 2-2 pitch, and he ended up being in the perfect spot. Let's check in with Mark Stout. Mark?
Hey guys, first of all, a tip of the hat to the grounds crew. They worked on this field for about 3 to 4 hours this afternoon. Considering the rain, it looks great. On Jason Hammel, 40th career start for the Rockies today. Think back to this weekend last year. Do you remember the rain tornado delay in the game against the Mariners when he went 5 1/3 innings, got the win? He is 3-1 in interleague play. He's been great against the American League. Just an ironic thing is, the guy that hit the first home run off him in his career, Melvin Mora, is now his teammate. He was with the Orioles then, hit it off him when he was with the Rays, but he has pitched great against the American League. Drew, Jeff?
Well, Jason Hammel right now seems to be pitching well against everybody. There's Melvin. 2-strike count on Encarnacion. Here's another big swing guy, powerfully built guy. 8 home runs this year, not much of an average. It's just 202.
Yeah, he missed time earlier this year. Came out of spring training with a little bit of a bad shoulder. Wasn't quite right. Went back on the DL and just hasn't found that stroke yet.
He's 4 for his last 27 at the plate. Now the Jays are hitting home runs, but look at the batting averages in the month of June. 138 for Batista, and Encarnacion 136. Hill at 229. Lewis 211. Adam Lind at 121. Alex Gonzalez 231. And I mean, that's not a real good swing. Easy play for Todd Helton. 1-2-3 second inning for Jason Hammel. Brad Hopp will lead it off for the Rockies. Did you do all the walks? Yeah. Rockies rock. We hope so. Who wants tacos? Fans, remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies Tacos Special. Only in Taco Bell. Brad Hopp against Brandon Morrow. And took something off there and he missed. No, he didn't miss. See, I looked away. I forgot to wait with Tim McClellan. It was in the strike zone.
Did catch the 4th strike zone, and we just have to wait with McClellan.
And that's in there too.
Well, the same spot.
Brad Hopp getting to play against a guy he grew up with. We mentioned Vernon Wells and that Dallas Mustangs Connie Mack team. Vernon didn't get to play on it very long. See, he was the 5th pick in the draft as a high school senior. And began his professional career, but there were 4 future big leaguers on that Dallas Mustangs team. Vernon Wells, Brad Hopp, Chu Freeman, a former Rocky, and Chris Young, the 6'10" pitcher.
That's not fair.
No, it really wasn't.
Okay, go get him, Tommy.
Yeah. That's inside 2 and 2. And the big Connie Mack tournament is the World Series in Farmington, New Mexico every year, and that town does a great job of hosting it. We used to televise it, in fact. And I said, Brad, you guys win it? He said, you know, we were the team to beat, but we did not win it. That's baseball. Strike 3. First strikeout from Morrow. Let's take a look at another Colorado Lottery replay. Last night, Ryan Spilborgh's on an 0-2 pitch from Ricky Romero, and he lined it out of the ballpark into the Rockies bullpen. That tied up the ball game at 1. A reminder, if you have non-winning scratch tickets, replay them at ColoradoLottery.com. And Spilborghs takes a strike. Spilly over his last 4. 8 for 11, including 3 for 3 last night.
Well, that's why he's back in there today. Tracy, as you mentioned in our open, just riding that hot hand. The other thing it does, though, it allows you to have Seth Smith coming off the bench as a pinch hitter. Now you got a couple lefties with 3 left-handed relievers for the Blue Jays. Jim's got the option now with Seth Smith and Jason Giambi.
Nice options to have. With the 8 for 11, he's raised his batting average 60 points.
Well, just yesterday, he raised it from yesterday, the start of the ball game, to tonight, 24 points.
You know, for all of Morrow's control issues on the road, I mean, he's had impeccable control at Rogers Center and awful command out on the road. You talked about the walks, almost a walk-in inning in road games, but at least in this game so far, he's been working ahead. And he strikes out Spilborghs.
Yeah, and that's the difference. Those walks you're talking about, in 6 starts, he's 0-3 with an 8.33 out on the road. 26 walks in 27 innings coming into the ball game. At home, 4-1, only 9 walks in 37 innings.
Quite a difference. Startling difference. Miguel Olivo with a .320 batting average. He's hit 8 home runs. He's driven in 28. And last night he had a couple of hits, including an RBI. Outside. Let's take a look at the Amica hit zone on Olivo. Amica, it's not how you're covered, it's how you're treated.
A lot of red there when that ball's up.
That's a good pitch.
Well, it is. We talk about different zones for a hitter. Well, if they leave it up, and you have to be able to do something with it, and so far at home, Miguel's been able to do that. Just caught the corner on that last pitch from Morrow. Tried to go right back to the same pitch again in the same location. A couple of hard sliders, and take a peek in, see if they're going to try to run that 2-seamer up underneath the hands.
Miguel was sitting dead red. Even though that was up with his eyes, he fired at it.
2-seamer, as I mentioned, from the Hyundai cam, just swung underneath it. Right? It's 96 miles an hour with a little bit of movement. It looks as big as a beach ball. You just can't get it.
And he strikes out the side. Hopp, Spilborghs, and Olivo all go down. We'll go to the 3rd inning. 2 bagels on the scoreboard.
Here's song number 1.
Been 1 week since you looked at me.
AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Buy Brakes Plus, a whole lot more. By Tri-State Generation and Transmission, Tri-State, the power behind your local electric co-op. And by Hyundai, get more style, more MPG, and more value at your Colorado Hyundai dealers today. No scores. We go to the third inning. The Blue Jays and Rockies, and it'll be the 8-hole hitter, Jose Molina, backs up John Buck. Molina with the Yankees last year. That's 51 at bats, just 5 hits, 2-0. Jays are 17 and 14 out on the road, even after the loss last night. It's the 4th best road record in baseball. And this is a towering pop-up. Johnny Herrera, Clint Barmas. It'll be Herrera.
It's kind of nice tonight when you don't have any raindrops dropping in your eyes when those fly balls go up.
And really not a lot of wind right now. Our Geico, he said it. We're going to work hockey in since Toronto's in town. Don Cherry, I look around and I wish sometimes I could just walk into a building and be like any other coach, but I can't. I realize that. I have to be Don Cherry to the kids and go to the games. Who go to the games, I think I owe it to them to sign autographs. The fiery,
colorful,
yes, colorful Don Cherry.
No, I was talking about his suits.
Well, Don, there's a lot of ways you could apply colorful language with Don Cherry, colorful personality. 2-1. He's a very polarizing figure sometimes in hockey, isn't he?
He is. But you tune in to watch him.
Yeah. It's kind of like Howard Cosell was in the United States. Don Cherry to hockey fans in Canada.
Especially Saturday night hockey in Canada.
That is destination television north of the border. 2-2 on Morrow, just his 5th career at bat. He does not have a hit, and he won't get one here. 2 outs. Well, Fred Lewis doubled, and Aaron Hill was a couple of pitches into his at bat when Scott Garrett, the Nuggets assistant trainer, and manager Jim Tracy went out to talk to Hamill, who evidently was a little bothered by the groin injury again. Well, he struck out Hill, and he's retired 7 more since then, so 8 in a row altogether. 2 outs, and here's Lewis.
Well, yeah, and 23 strikes in 34 pitches. So he's doing it economically as well.
Lewis has the only hit in the ball game. It was a line double to left center field that went off the glove of Ryan Spilborghs as he was chasing it down in the gap. And this ball's hit well to right field. Hop going back, and he makes the catch. right in front of the wall.
Tonight we have 3 contestants.
Time to go outside the box with Jack in the box. Okay, that's where Toronto started. They went south to Tampa, out to Denver. They'll continue this trip at San Diego, and then they'll fly all the way back to Toronto. So they'll go 5,600 miles, or 9,033 kilometers. Outside the box brought to you by Jack in the Box. 7-8-9 for the Rockies. Ian Stewart to face Brandon Morrow. Morrow did get a start against the Rockies a couple of years ago. It was an emergency start. He was on a pitch count, so he went only 3 innings.
I think part of the problem, too, for Brandon Morrow when he was with Seattle, being from that area, he's picked ahead of Tim Lincecum, so there was a lot of pressure when Lincecum was doing well and he wasn't. It was like, oh, we should have taken this guy from the Washington area. A lot of hype to live up to. Now when he's been over in Toronto, kind of settled into a role over there.
Well, he was one of 3 Pac-10 pitchers to go in the top 10 rounds because he went to Cal Berkeley. The Rockies had the 2nd selection. They took Stanford's Greg Reynolds. And Tim Lincecum, out of the University of Washington, has had the best career so far, by far, of anybody in that draft.
A couple Cy Youngs will do that for you.
Yeah, I mean, I should say, he's had the best career of anybody, period. Evan Longoria would be 2nd. No swing. They check it with Adrian Johnson. 2-2 on Stewart. Well, this kind of guy, as hard as he throws, you got to get started, pull back a little bit earlier, don't you?
Well, and it's better to be early than late, because if you're late, you're trying to catch up to everything. Make sure that front foot lands and those hands are back even before that ball is delivered. Then you can still fire at it.
And this is popped down the left field line, and a great effort by Fred Lewis.
I didn't think he had a chance when he took off after the ball.
That's a very good effort, because he's in a mad dash, and he knows that the stands are coming up soon.
And then just try that. I mean, to be sliding like he was about 3 or 4 feet before the ball even comes down into your glove, and just missed it from the Hyundai cam. And it hit off the leather. A very fine effort from Fred Lewis.
So if Fred had grabbed that with his bare hand as it ricocheted off the leather, he would have had one of the 10 best plays guaranteed all year long.
I still have to go back to Burley's.
Yeah.
I think opening day it was this year.
And that's 4 straight strikeouts now for Morrow. I'll bring up Clint Barmas. Let's give you an update on Houston Street. He worked back-to-back nights down in AAA, and the Rockies were hoping he'd be ready to go. Well, last night he struggled. He went only 2/3 of an inning after giving up a home run on Thursday. So what the Rockies have decided, and it has probably less to do with results and more to do with the fact that his velocity's down just a notch, and they just want him to pitch a little bit more. So he's going to have 3 more outings at AAA, and then they'll reassess from there in about a week.
It's still spring training basically for Houston. It's kind of like what Jim Tracy has done tonight with Troy Tulowitzki. Let's go ahead and sit him for a game or two so we don't lose him for 2 weeks. Let's make sure when Houston Street comes back that he's ready to go throughout the rest of the season. It's not something we have to baby him along. When he comes back, he's ready to go full tilt, no questions asked.
Yeah. And Houston admitted as much. I mean, he's disappointed, but he believes, I think, inside that's the best thing to do.
Well, players sometimes will try to tell themselves I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I really believe that, but there's always that little guy that's standing on your shoulder going, are you sure? Are you sure? So you want to make sure that you are ready to go when you come back.
Barnes lines one right center field, and it's going to get down. Batista able to come up with the short hop. So the Rockies have their first hit, first base runner. It's a 1-out knock for Barmes, and that makes things a little easier on Hamill. He'll just try to bunt him over if he can.
Well, that slider left up, but Clint was so concerned about making sure he stayed in the middle of the field and pull off the fastball that he was able to fist it out into right field and get the first hit, but more importantly, get Jason Hamill to the plate with an opportunity to lay down a sac bunt. Jason, 3 sacrifice bunts on the season. Run it towards first base if you can.
You better be careful if you're Clint Barmes with Jose Molina back there. You know, sometimes guys get a bigger secondary lead, Jeff, with when they know the guy at the plate's trying to sacrifice, and he could throw back door on you.
A snap throw in a hurry, and we saw it a couple times in the last series with Quintero, how he picked a couple guys off in bunt situations.
Barmes takes off the slug bunt. And interesting call. It would have been beautiful had that ball stayed in fair territory. That would have been that would have really worked out.
Well, it was executed perfectly on all ends. The only thing that didn't happen was get that base hit, or at least get the ball down on the ground.
And I really like it there, Huey, where Jim Tracy called it, because it was already 1-0. So instead of doing it with 1 strike and now you're forcing him to get a bunt down with 2 strikes, there was a strike to play with.
And that's the whole key to that. If he would have thrown a first pitch strike, you can't do it, because you don't want that pitcher to fall behind in the count 0-2 and then have to sit there and worry about trying to get this one down. Is it got to be perfect, whatever. Allow Jason to do it. Now he still has to battle now because it's 1-2. But it was just set up perfectly for Jim Tracy.
Yeah, Hamill did get the bunt down. Another strikeout, 5 punch outs, and that'll bring up Johnny Herrera.
Fans, don't forget, 15-game mini plans are now available. This includes great games and postseason opportunities.
Jim Tracy, Tommy Runnels to his left, Don Baylor obviously to the right. Whatever Jim Tracy's saying, everybody agrees. You run Barmes if you get the right sequence?
Yeah, if you do. .125 that time, and that was a slider that didn't slide at all, or a curveball that just slipped out of his hand.
Again, the guy behind the plate is thrown at 9 of 13, Jose Molina.
You just saw him pointing out at first base. All he was doing is reminding the pitcher, ball to the right side. You've got to get over there.
This is where catchers get an extra adrenaline rush. When they think there's a throwing situation, man, they take great pride in being able to cut down runners, especially a backup guy now like Molina.
There it is. Just like his two brothers, Yadier and Benji, they'll do the same thing. You could just feel that coming, couldn't you, Drew? The way he wanted to throw, and it's a good, perfect opportunity to do it because you already are holding the runner on over there. You don't come far off the bag, and then it's just a snap throw, and if it's a good throw, then you try to get that tag down on him.
They're the numbers we were talking about.
Remember, about 26-27% is the major league average.
And a ground ball to second. That's all for the Rockies in the bottom of the third. We move on to the fourth. No score. Aaron Hill will lead off for the Jays. Beat the Arizona Diamondbacks 7 strong innings. This is 11th win. Last night he got his 12th. Then the 4th triple of the year for Miguel Olivo on Monday against Houston. And then last night a 5th inning home run. Number 9 for Carlos Gonzalez. Our AMCO Clutch Plays of the Week brought to you by AMCO. AA MCO. Aaron Hill out of the 2-hole. Second look at Jason Hamill. And that's in there for a strike. Hill struck out in the first. Fred Lewis began the game with a line double to left center field. 9 in a row set down by Hamill since then.
Just 2 base hits in the ball game between both clubs.
It's no surprise that Lewis has it. Lewis is 7 for 9 in his career against Jason Hamill. Ground ball to third.
Perfectly executed by Ian Stewart. Take a little drop step, catch a good hop, make the strong throw.
AT&T trivia question. Who are the 4 players in Major League history to hit a grand slam in their first big league at bat? And the reason we're asking that tonight is it happened today for a Boston Red Sox rookie in the first pitch he ever saw in the major leagues. Jose Bautista takes a strike on a slider.
What a thrill for that kid.
Really? That's boy, I was fooled swing.
Among other things. 84-mile-an-hour slider. Perfect look out of the Hyundai Cam, the red dot we see as hitters, and Bautista didn't see that one.
There's the show me fastball. We may see that slider again.
Why not?
Jose Bautista, who played for Jim Tracy when he was with the Pirates. Tracy really admires his ability. He said we were trying to get him on the field, get him at bats any way we could. He had top shelf power. He has great hands at third. Could play center field even though he doesn't run real well. So he could even play shortstop if he had to. Here's the 2-2.
Well, the problem too is for Batista, they had signed Joe Randa right around that same time, so it kind of limited his at bats, and so that's what Jim Tracy had to do, kind of mix and match, find spots for him to get his ABs. But it happened for 2 years there. Couldn't say enough glowing things about that young man.
2-2, way inside, 3-2. Batista 0 for his last 20 at the plate. Did you ever go to the plate when you didn't have some butterflies?
Not really. I mean, every game you start off with a few. I thought I was going to have room, huh?
You know, I was with you. I thought initially he was going to. Now, Alana Rizzo's off tonight. She's gotten hit by a baseball in San Francisco. 2 nights ago, Carlos Gonzalez on a wet night had the bat fly out of her hands and hit her. Fortunately, Alana's okay. And had she been here tonight, that ball would have plunked her on the head.
Get well, Alana.
3-2 slider. See you later. Strikeout number 3 for Jason Hamill. Out number 2 in the 4th.
Jason dropped down a little bit on that ball to get a little bit more sideways action on that hard slider. Watch how far across his body Miguel reaches for that thing, and Batista was reaching the whole time too. From the side, way out onto that front leg, completely lost his balance in his back leg.
Vernon Wells fouled out to Todd Helton his first time up. He hits this to shallow center field. Carlos Gonzalez is there. That is 12 in a row set down by Jason Hamill. Get him some runs. 1 hit apiece.
Hitting for the Rockies, first baseman, number 17, Todd Helder.
No score, bottom of the 4th. The Rockies will have Helton, Gonzalez, and Hamm. Today's Fast Cash Sideline Report brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Let's check in with Mark Stout.
Hey, Drew, Brendan Morrow's pitching well. He has been living with type 1 diabetes since his senior year in high school. One of his friends was doing a school project on diabetes and said, I think you have some of these symptoms. Went and got checked out. And he found out, yes, indeed, he had. In his sophomore year, when he was at Cal Berkeley, he had an insulin pump installed, and that's where you have a port in your stomach and you have to wear the little pump. Well, he started wearing it when he was pitching games, didn't like it. It felt like a pager clipped to him. The tube kind of got all wrapped around his jersey, so he doesn't wear it when he pitches now. But when he's in the bullpen, and I'm over the Jays bullpen, he makes sure he monitors his glucose and his sugar ratings and will eat a complex carbohydrate bar an hour before the game. He said when he was in the pen, he used to be able to monitor it a little bit better, but by this time in the game, the fourth inning, things even out and he's okay. But for those of you that have diabetes, here's a guy that's living with it and pitching in the big leagues. True, Jeff?
Yeah, the folks in this area learned that when Jay Cutler was in town. Jay plays with an insulin pump. Helton fouls that off, remains 0-2. Amazing the things that can be done now with modern science.
There's a guy for the Tigers, Jason Johnson, who had the same thing, and he pitched with the pump.
Inside. Here's the 1-2 to Todd. And Todd drives it to deep right center field. Did he get it? It's off the top of the wall. It's off the top of the wall. That is going to be interesting. Let's see if Jim Tracy comes out. It's hard to tell that far out there and give Andy Fletcher a lot of credit. He ran out as far as he could. No argument. I guess it did hit the very, very top of the wall. Because sometimes you have to hit an object on the other side and come back in. Todd drove that a long way.
I tried to go inside with the fastball. He turned on it, opened those hips a little bit, and got that front leg down to allow those hands to work through the baseball. And when this ball was hit, thought it had a chance to get out. It hit right on that yellow line. Better look from the Hyundai cam of what Batista's looking at.
Wow.
That's literally inches.
Do you know what? You see that little lip on the back of the padding at the top of the fence? That's what it hit. Honestly, if it's an inch, if he hits it an inch shorter, as crazy as that sounds, it's going to skip, I think, into the bullpen home run.
Yeah, it'll hit off that padding.
Don't you agree? I mean, if it hits the padding and not the part that sticks up.
But also the trajectory, the way the ball was coming down at that angle, just hit on that little lip, and it caused it to come back into the field of play.
A lead-off double for Helton. And Gonzalez takes that pitch away, 2-0. Boy, that is great to see.
It was, because they kept going inside, too, thinking that they could beat Todd in. And that last pitch was a little bit of the reminiscent of the Todd being able to drive that ball.
2-0, and that's not what Gonzalez wanted to do there. And Helton's trying to cross, and he's out. Well, Helton was aggressive the other night, and it paid off. And he tried to time it as soon as the ball was let go at third by Encarnacion. He tried to run on Lyle Overbay ostensibly, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, first of all, you didn't get the good swing from Carlos Gonzalez to be able to pull the ball. The ball was sinking away from him, and he chopped it over to third base. And you want to pull that ball, and of course Encarnacion gets rid of it quickly. Lyle Overbay comes off and hits the shortstop Gonzalez. Todd goes back towards the bag. Right there, he sees the throw going, and he takes off. And remember this soft ground? Well, it's just kind of like an anchor going into the ground and a little bit of a face plant. A lot of different mixture in the dirt and the diamond dry that they have out there on the field right now.
Hop grounds out sharply to short, and the leadoff double gets wasted. We'll go to the fifth, no score. To you by the Courtyard by Marriott on the 16th Street Mall. Call 303-571-1114 and ask about our hometown sports package. By Big Brothers Big Sisters, donate your car, you get a free tow, a tax break, and you'll help change a kid's life. And by the Great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. Ball game moving along, and fortunately the weather is cooperating at Coors Field. Jason Hamill had retired 12 in a row until Alex Gonzalez with a soft single to right. One on, Lyle Overbay coming up here in the 5th inning. Let's visit again with Mark Stout. Mark?
Hey, Drew, Jeff, let's get you the XL Energy Fun Fact, which is about Lyle Overbay. He collected his first hit in the big leagues here at Coors Field, September the 19th of 01. He was with the Diamondbacks then. He was a Diamondbacks draft choice. They were in a pennant race. He was a September call-up, only got into 2 games. He had 2 at-bats. He pinch hit in the top of the 9th for Jay Bell. Line one to right field. It was a clean base hit. I said, do you remember it? He said, you know why I remembered? The next guy up, and he couldn't tell me who it was, grounded into a double play. I got into the dugout, and on the first step, congratulating me, was Matt Williams. He said he will never forget it. I said, do you have the ball? Yes, he's got the ball. He's going to put it into a baseball room when his career ends. And he said that when he got into the clubhouse, they gave him the ball, and it was, for lack of a better word, defaced. And he kind of looked at everybody and said, well, what am I going to do with this? And they said, no. We have the real ball for you. And Jeff, tell your story here in a moment, but let you know that the kiosk behind the rock pile is powered by 46 solar panels, and you can find out how you can use the sun's energy at responsiblebynature.com. XL Energy, the fun fact about Lyle Overbay.
Well, it's an old trick whenever you get your first big league hit that they'll do that with the ball. It always gives you the one all messed up. They spelled my name wrong, and they spelled where we were. In Pittsburgh, they spelled that wrong. Who I got my hit off, Doug Dre, all of that. And it wasn't until later on, about an hour, they gave me the real baseball.
You know what? We tell those stories a lot, and it happens to virtually everybody. It kicks away from Olivo, and moving up is Gonzalez. Now he's in scoring position, no longer a double play opportunity, nobody out. But it happens all the time, and at some point, you think the guy would go back to the dugout and go, all right, fellas, come on. You know, I know this is the routine.
Yeah, but you're so happy because you got a hit at the big league level and you've reached the pinnacle. You kind of forget all the stuff that you hear about.
1 and 2 on Overbay. Swung on and missed. Big strikeout there by Hamill, his 4th.
Huge pitch. One of the few curveballs we've seen from Jason tonight. The straight over the top, the 12-6. We've seen a lot more sliders from him. But remember in his last outing against Houston, he was getting a lot of strikeouts with that, or swing and misses at least, with that big curveball, big spiked one.
Edwin Encarnacion hit a little floater to help. This ball's a towering pop up. He got that on the barrel and just missed it. Gonzalez getting ready to throw. No chance that Gonzalez was going to test his arm. Wouldn't have been a prudent move with Gonzalez already in scoring position. That was probably the deal last inning. We didn't really have an opportunity to talk about it. You know, Gonzalez on a 2-0 pitch wants at the very least to be able to pull the baseball and move help. That didn't happen.
Right.
Todd's trying to make something happen. You understand that, but you're in the middle of the order. You're in scoring position with 1 out. You got Hop coming up. You have Spilborghs coming up.
Not a real good decision. I mean, you got to understand where you're at in the lineup, and I understand what Todd's doing. But at the same time, don't waste it because you're still in scoring position with only 1 out on second base, and you've got, as we mentioned, Brad Hopp and Ryan Spilborghs coming up to the plate.
And additionally, your pitcher, Jason Hamill's throwing the ball great.
Right, and who knows, tonight might be one of those nights where 1 run could mean the difference, and that's why Jim Tracy right now is intentionally walking Jose Molina to get to the pitcher in Morrow.
He's not messing around.
No.
I mean, Molina's hitting under 100 and has only 52 at-bats this year. But it has that kind of feel. Morrow's pitching well. Hamill's pitching well. 1 run, 2 runs certainly may get it done tonight.
Well, and Jim's not going to take a chance with anything along those lines. This is only the 3rd at bat this year for Morrow. So he's not going to take a chance with Molina. Oh, pitch around him, and then you hang a pitch, and he gets it for a base hit, knocks in that 1 run.
I always say this in these situations, it's where Hamill on the hill has to maintain his focus and can't take it for granted that there's a pitcher up there who has just a handful of at-bats at the big league level. That's why. Line drive to Hop, and fortunately he was positioned perfectly. Leadoff single by Gonzalez. He's left stranded. No score, middle of 5. Saw that. It just makes me so mad. Take a look at tonight's Rocky Mountain Coal Mining Institute Power Hit of the Week. Troy Tulowitzki with a solo home run Sunday to the opposite field. Did you know technologies exist to convert coal to liquid fuels to help power our armed forces? Coal thinking outside the box when it comes to energy, and it's mined right here in Colorado. I want to correct something on Jose Molina. There was a typo evidently on the sheet with the lineup card, and it had him hitting at 094. And there was another spot where it looked like he was 5 for 51. He's actually 15. Another typo. He's 15 for 51. So he's hitting 294, not 094. But even if he was hitting 094, Jim Tracy was going to pass on him and deal with a pitcher who has very little experience. Yep. Ryan Spilborg struck out his first time against Brandon Morrow. This has been a pitcher's duel. Morrow's allowed 2 hits, a single by Barmas, a double by Helton that almost went out of the ballpark. And for Jason Hamill, he's allowed only 2 hits. A double by Fred Lewis leading off the game, and then a single, a bloop single by Alex Gonzalez last inning leading off. And then he got wild pitch to second with nobody out, and Jason Hamill worked out of that. So twice he's dealt with a runner on second and nobody out. This is pulled toward the hole. Gonzalez leaps and throws and gets Spilborgs by a step. What a great play by Alex Gonzalez.
We just see the difference at nights, because last night there was a ball hit in the hole with the rain and everything. Gonzalez slipped. This time able to get over there. And how many times have we seen Troy Tulowitzki do that jump throw? Nice pick from Lyle Overbay over at first base, but this jump throw, you have to make sure that you get those hips turned around and still have the arm strength. When you make that jump throw, you've got to come up over the top more. In between hop, but Lyle Overbay able to scoop it.
That was
tremendous play.
Tremendous play. Not even close at first. And Spilborgs runs pretty well. Olivo takes ball 1. Alex Gonzalez. getting to a lot of baseballs. He has 9 errors this year.
Range factor. That's typically guys that get to a lot of balls are going to have some more errors, because what happens, the official scorer looks at it and goes, oh, well, he got to that ball, should be an error. Well, you know what? He went 10 feet or 5 feet further than anybody else could have who doesn't get to that ball.
It's a nice story, because 2 years ago, he missed the entire season, did not play at all in 2008. They had to redo a knee. He had microfracture surgery.
That's where they go in and drill the hole into the bone, try to get a little regrowth going.
Came back late last year with Cincinnati, really wasn't himself.
So it takes about a year to 14 months to come back to feel like you're back to the point you were before you got injured.
Here's the 2-2. Strike 3. So Molina is the 6th strikeout from Morrow. 2 outs, and Ian Stewart will come up. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. Who are the 4 players in Major League history who hit a grand slam in their first big league at bat? We'll show you the answer right after this pitch. Jeremy Hermida did it in 05. Kevin Kuzminoff did it when he was playing for the Indians in 06. Bill Dugalby, I believe, in 1898, I think. And today, for the Boston Red Sox, Daniel Nava on the first pitch.
Kind of interesting, because I know Hermida just went on the DL yesterday, but he was at the ballpark today. Two of the 4 guys.
They both play for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Hermida did it when he was with the Marlins. Here's the 2-0. Buggy whip swing, but no baseball for Ian Stewart. Stewart has 7 home runs, all out on the road, believe it or not. Boston beat up the Phillies again.
Blanton, rough outing after Jamie Moyer yesterday.
It's the worst outing in Moyer's 44-year career. Started to say 24. I almost had it wrong. 2-2.
Phillies starters in the first 2 games of that series, ERA of 32.4. Quick work by Doug Marino.
Yeah, that's a nice average if you're LeBron James. 3-2. All zeros up on the scoreboard. There have been 4 combined hits. And a walk to Stewart. First allowed tonight by Mora, who has walked a bunch on the road this year. I'll bring up Barmas.
He's 27th out on the road.
Windshield damage, call Safelite Elite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000. Safelite.com is how you reach them on the internet. Barmas singled for the Rockies' first hit with 1 out in the 3rd inning.
Well, with that walk now, Morrow has gone into tied for 2nd in American League walks. The leader is Harden with 43, and then you got Gonzalez and John Lester and Morrow all with 36.
Barmas pulls it to 3rd, and Encarnacion fires to Aaron Hill, and the Rockies are out of business in the 5th inning. Fred Lewis, top of the order for the Jays in the 6th. Available to anyone. Test drive it today. Monday's a day off after Toronto heads to San Diego, and the Rockies will see Target Field for 3 ball games, and then it's home to see the Milwaukee Brewers. That's where the Rockies open the season, when they play the Brewers in Milwaukee. It's a part of the schedule you really want to make hay. The Rockies at home over a 17-day period 13 times. Fred Lewis is 7 for 9 against Jason Hamill. Coming in, he was 6 of 7. Tonight, a double and then a fly ball to the wall in right.
Just 3 for his last 29 prior to that. 11 strikeouts.
On the outside corner. Good location on that 2-0 pitch. It's like a real lengthy at bat for a Toronto Blue Jay.
4 pitches.
Well, they fire at the first pitch almost 34% of the time, which Jeff mentioned this last night. It is by far the most in baseball. Second are the Cubs. They fire at the first pitch 30% of the time. The Rockies are pretty aggressive. They have fired at the first pitch the 6th most times, around 28%, a little bit above that.
The Reds are up there too, aren't they? 3rd?
The Reds are 3rd most. You're right. And then the team that's the most patient, at least, the Boston Red Sox, they swing at the first pitch only 18% of the time. The Angels are next at just under 20%. The Phillies, surprisingly, are right around 20% also. And the reason I say that is because the Phillies, especially in their ballpark, can hit the ball over the wall with anybody. And you'd think, man, they're going to jump on that first pitch fastball a lot.
But I think
evidently not.
But I think what happens, though, sometimes in that ballpark is pitchers go in there, they understand, or they realize that how small that ballpark is, so they try to nibble and they try to nitpick a little bit. Now all of a sudden they fall behind 1-0, 2-0, and then they can jump on that pitch.
Fred Lewis.
We fouled that ball off
a little more dinged up than we realize.
Sometimes when you get it right off the top of the foot, you'll get a good look on this swing, but it goes off the back one. He's got padding on his front toe, but not off that back one.
And it hit the shin first.
Yeah. You can kind of see that guard on that right foot to protect it. He still doesn't have feeling down there right now. He
didn't want any more attention, so he said, I feel fine.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines, nodded his head.
But now, you know where you go now?
Feel well.
You go inside. Go ahead, go in, or throw that breaking pitch down and then again, see if he'll swing at it.
Yep, they went to that slider down and in.
It would have been really bad if we would have fouled it off the right foot that time. Last pitch again, just missed getting the front toes. See ya.
No, I thought so too. 3-2.
Well, it was outside the strike zone. This will give us a great look on the Southwest Sky Cam, and that just barely missed the zone.
Here's the 3-2, and that definitely missed. So ball 4, and Fred Lewis is on leading off the 6th inning. A guy who can run. Though I don't know if he can run right now after fouling that pitch off his foot. Let's take a look at our Quest high-speed pitch, brought to you by Quest, the high-speed internet provider of the Rockies. Morrow's touch 97, Hamill at 94.
With the 6th inning now, Drew, in a tight ball game, we'll see if Cito Gaston plays this any differently than what we've seen so far. With runners out at second base, they haven't changed their swing. But now at first base, is Cito going to put the hit and run on, maybe a sacrifice bunt, or say, forget it, we live and die by the home run? Aaron Hill does not have a sacrifice at all this year.
This is where it's, for most American League teams, it's a different game than is played in the National League.
Well, and Cito Gasson said as much last night in his post-game press conference in the notes, and somebody asked him about pitch hitting for Ricky Romero last night. He said, hey, it's a National League ball game. I have to do it in that situation. I wouldn't do it in the American League.
And Aaron Hill's not your typical two-hole hitter in a couple areas. Now, Aaron's having a bad year. But Aaron Hill hits the ball over the wall. He's hitting only 139 out on the road. That's the worst mark in the American League. But even if he was hitting as he did last year, he's not going to bunt.
No, probably not. But sometimes you have to go outside your comfort zone. If the manager is saying this might be a 1-0 ball game, I might have to try something different to try to win this ball game and play a different style.
Hill hit 286 last year. Runner going. Olivo throws it right on the bag. See you later, Fred Lewis. Miguel Olivo with a perfect throw. His 15th runner that he's caught this season.
Well over 50%. That was a hit and run. Lewis takes off, gives a quick glance back. Aaron Hill had swung the bat. Perfect throw right on the money to Jonathan Herrera to get Fred Lewis.
And a little comebacker. Oh, that helps put down an inning, doesn't it?
In a big sort of way.
Now Jose Batista will come up with nobody on.
Yeah, now Miguel Olivo is second in all of baseball. Runners caught at well over 53%. Yadier Molina, who we talked about earlier in the broadcast, leads all Major League catchers.
I asked Mark Strittmatter this, continuing our conversation on catchers. So how would you rate Miguel Olivo's arm on the 20 to 80 scale, 80 being Hall of Fame kind of arm? And I'm going to ask you the same thing.
I would put it at a 65.
You know, you guys were in the same ballpark. He said it's a 70.
Okay.
He said Olivo's arm is that good.
Because I kind of gauge it off of Pudge Rodriguez. You know, to me, Pudge was an 80 as far as arm goes. And Tony Pena was probably a 70 to 75. He was right up there. Carlton Fisk playing against him. Same sort of numbers.
Rick Cerrone with the Yankees had a great arm. That's in there, 1-2. Bautista, fly ball to center field and a strikeout. Hamill has struck out 4. He's got a shutout string going now. Went 7 1/3 of shutout baseball against the Astros.
We had 10 innings coming into the last game and a half, and you had the 4 2/3 he has, or 5 2/3, excuse me, that he has now. It's not quite getting to the Ubaldo Jimenez stretch, but halfway there.
Yeah, Ubaldo went 33 innings. Slider, and that's all for Bautista. What a job by Jason Hamill. Just get him one marker. Hey, congratulations. A lot of things going on at the yard tonight. time for the Coors Light freeze cam. This is how close the Rockies are to leading 1-0. Look at where that ball hit. The very top of the fence. For Todd, that was leading off the 4th inning. A double. Unfortunately, Rockies did not score. Jason Hamill will lead off here in the 6th. That was the Frost Brewed Coors Light freeze cam. 2 hits apiece. That's pitch number 76 for Brandon Morrow. So he's averaged 15 pitches an inning. Doing a great job tonight. Product of Cal Berkeley and Centralia, Washington. 2-0.
A little bit of trouble back in the 3rd inning. That's when he gave up the base hit to Clint Barmas with a couple strikes. Foul tip.
That's 3-1. I thought it was a foul tip also. I thought I heard it.
That's what Jose's asking right now. I thought I heard that double hit.
Three and one on Hamill.
Take a pitch. Hope it's outside the zone.
He was 3-2. Rockies have a home run drought from their pitching staff of 6 years, a month, and 4 days. Ball 4. So a leadoff walk to Hamill, just the second allowed by Morrow. Let's go downstairs again, see what Mark Stout is up to. Mark.
Well, guys, it is the Sweet 16 of ballpark food. And if you look at the bracket, we're on the snack side. And the battle today is between the good old peanuts, yep, in the shell at the ballpark, and the seeds. Let me turn this around. These are the seeds you get in the dugout, the giant sunflower seeds. Now, the seeds come in spicy garlic, Dakota barbecue, blue cheese. I mean, there might be wild cherry in there for all I know, but it's a tight race. Seeds so far with the lead, which is surprising to me. But you got to text ROCKS1 if you want to vote for peanuts, and it's ROCKS2 for seeds, the sunflower seeds, to 95323. Let's see who will advance here in the Sweet 16 of ballpark food. I'm a peanut guy, so I'll leave it at that, guys.
Yeah, I'm a seeds guy. They actually have dill pickle.
Yeah.
Also, which I don't know about dill pickle.
They got everything. You know, I know who a seed guy is too. Matt Holliday. Didn't they used to have to like vacuum up the seeds out in left field after every game?
He'd have one, and he still does. He has a bag in his pocket, and if there was a long inning, he needed a waiter to come out and bring him another bag. My favorite, ranch.
I'm just a traditional. Give me the ones that are salted, and I'll have a lot of sunflower seeds. I had a lot of time when I was sitting on the bench watching a ball game.
So you chewed a lot of sunflower seeds?
Yes, I did.
Did you chew them when you went to the plate?
No.
1-1 on Jonathan Herrera.
See if he bunts again.
Herrera called up a week ago. 1 hit so far. No Troy Tulowitzki tonight. Very, very mild groin strain. May be able to go tomorrow. My guess, and this is a complete guess, just reading between the lines with the weather again, supposed to be sketchy tomorrow. You have an off day Monday. Get them 3 straight days off.
Tuesday. Yeah, I would agree. And just don't want to take a chance, and it's just 2 ball games when it's all said and done.
2-2. 3-2.
Now, Jim Tracy has an interesting dilemma here with the pitcher and Jason Hamill. Do you start him and run him with Jonathan Herrera, or you just leave him anchored at first?
I don't. Especially he in the first inning, he had a groin situation.
I understand, just throwing it out there. See how aggressive Jim's going to be.
Not going. And this is line to right, but stay where you are. It's hit so hard. that Batista had an easy play. Good swing by Herrera, 1 out. So Helton up there. That double for Todd in the 4th inning was his first extra base hit since June 1st. His 519th career double. Tied with Garrett Anderson now at the Dodgers.
Now it looks like Brandon Morrow, something might be up with him now.
Good. Blister.
Maybe a blister, or where that nail, when you throw a curveball or a slider, comes down and kind of scratches that skin. Whatever it is, it looks like you might have a little blood coming out of that thumb. Yeah. And of course, you can't put a Band-Aid or anything like that on it, so they got to try to stop the bleeding and control it without putting any sort of tape, Band-Aid, anything else out there.
That's in a spot. You wonder, he didn't get it from throwing the baseball. Unless, the only thing I think is when he comes set, does he rub it on his belt somehow?
I don't know. It's kind of a strange place for it to be. Kind of just a weird area, because I was thinking maybe it came from batting, but that's his top hand, so it's not going to make a difference there. Whatever it is, it's not on his fingertips, where that's the problem for pitchers when it gets out there.
So with 1 out, Jason Hamill at first base. Helton at the plate. And Todd with another base hit. This to left center. Hamill takes a look, and he is going to stride it out and get to third. Looking at Richie Dower. Todd Helton driving the ball all over the ballpark, as well as he has swung the bat in a while. Great to see. First and third, 1 out. Carlos Gonzalez, the Rockies' RBI leader, coming up.
Well, he turned on the fastball the first time up, that time, or excuse me, a second time up. That time they tried to go away with the 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and he hits it to right field. Jason Hamill understands what's going on with Fred Lewis out there. He wasn't able to cut that ball off real well with the wet ground. You don't want to slip, so he went ahead and took third base. David Percy up, one of the 3 left-handers that Cito Gaston has out in his bullpen.
Cargo, a floater to right field on the run. The catch is made by Batista. Hamill is going to score the first run of the ball game. Nice job by Carlos Gonzalez, his 38th RBI. 1-0 Rockies here in the 6th inning. And he made sure he got out front.
Yeah, get that fly ball and get it deep enough, because you had Jason Hamill out there running. Tried to work that sinker away, which they were able to get him to ground out. That time, Carlos got it right off the end of the bat. The bat goes everywhere. Barrel going down towards the dugouts, left with the handle in his hand, but strong enough to get it out there to drive in Jason, who had walked and scored the first run of the ball game. Sean Camp has joined David Percy out in the pen. They've got the righty-lefty combination going. With 2 right-handers following after Brad Hopp. That's why they have camp going, because Stewie's not due for another 3 hitters.
Hopp a strikeout and a sharp ground ball to short. 3-0.
I turned Brad loose here. Maybe 3-0, 2 outs.
Not a bad call. And he's one of those guys, Jeff, and you know, it's not every guy, middle of the order type guy, that likes to hit 3-0. Some really don't like it. He really usually takes a good swing 3-0 and makes a good decision 3-0.
That's the key, the decision making. You can't put that decision on a lot of hitters, because at 3-0 they get that green light and they'll swing at the ball as soon as it leaves the pitcher's hand. It could hit the bat stop and guys are still swinging at it. But the decision to swing at a strike.
Ball 4, and now Helton goes to scoring position for Spilborghs. And Morrow struggling here a little bit for the first time all night. He's walked 3 in the last inning and a third.
Our pitching coach
Bruce
Walton was on the phone seeing if those guys are ready. Checking all the notes, matchups. Now Molina will go out there to buy him a little extra time.
You know, Bruce Walton, hardcore Rocky fans may say, wait a second, somewhere I remember that name. And if you're saying that to yourself, you're accurate, because he threw 4 games for the Rockies back in 1994. Bounced around the big leagues. Spilborghs strikeout and robbed of a hit by Alex Gonzalez, and this is toward the hole, a base hit. Helton around third, going to get a green light from Richie Dower. Batista, great throw, and Helton is out at the plate by 15 feet. So Jose Batista got to the baseball quickly and fired a strike to Molina. In the inning, the Rockies get the first run of the ball game on a sac fly by Carlos Gonzalez. Time for the Cooney Lexus look back. Jason Hamill has had a marvelous outing. Strikes out Aaron Hill early in the ball game. Batista swings and misses. Locks him up another time. And Todd Helton's had a good ball game offensively. He came within literally 1 inch of hitting a home run in the 4th. Got stranded there. And the difference in this game, a sac fly, allowing Jason Hamill to score the sac fly from Carlos Gonzalez. And now in the 7th inning, Vernon Wells, 0 for 2. Gets a breaking ball for strike one from Jason Hamill.
That's smart to throw him a breaking pitch. You've got him out a couple times with the slider and the fastball last time. Make sure it's in the right spot.
Well, that's very close to strike two.
You were ready to call strike two. It was just outside the strike zone, I think.
Here's the 1-1. And that was a mistake, but it's popped up. And Hamill saying, I got it. I can handle this.
You know what? That's the one time that you go ahead and let the pitcher do it. Because Miguel Olivo couldn't turn around and try to make that catch as he's stumbling back. Todd wasn't able to get in quick enough. Ian Stewart over at third wasn't able to.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, he's the one who's already on the hill. He's got to come down a little bit. It wasn't hit that high.
Well, look at
let him catch it.
He's looking for guys, and finally he did the right thing. He waved his hand saying, I got it, get out of the way. And he caught the ball. You know, I'm the guy that says, hey, if an infielder can get it, he should get it. But that time, there's nobody else that should have.
But here's kind of where sometimes we have we speak out of both sides of our mouth. 0-1 on Alex Gonzalez. And a ground ball deep in the hole. And look at Vargas. First base. That was even better than the one Gonzalez had.
Because he had to go further to get that ball.
He finished in foul territory. What a play by Clint Vargas.
When we run this replay, watch where Clint ends up after he makes a throw. First of all, he's pulled over in the hole a little bit. He goes to the backhand, gets rid of the ball very quickly. Todd Helton with the scoop, much like Lyle Overbay had to do over there. Now watch where Clint has to throw that ball from the side. He couldn't really get over around on top of it and threw out Gonzalez.
Hey, listen, Overbay made a great play. That was a harder scoop because it wasn't a short hop. What a great play. 2 outs. The shift on for Overbay was 0 for 2.
And worked underneath the ball. Todd's head was behind his glove so he could look it all the way in. He worked bottom to top, and he was able to scoop it.
Man, to finish the thought, we want our pitchers, we always say, hey, be athletic out there. We want you to be athletic. And then there's a pop-up. Get out of the way. You're not an athlete.
That's true. I mean, I understand what you're saying. And usually for those high pop-ups, you want somebody else because they have a little bit better angle coming from the side.
1-1 on Overbay. 2-1. What a gorgeous play by Clint Vargas. And again, he's not on that side of the field anymore very frequently. It's always Tulowitzki.
It just shows you the type of arm strength that Clint has, and we've seen it on double plays a lot.
And he's going to have a chance here. Backhand side, and the throw to Helton, and he got him on the tag. Great play again by Vargas, and a great play by that 3-time Gold Glover at first, number 17. Rockies 1 and the Jays nothing. One nothing Colorado, bottom of the 7th inning at Coors Field. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout. Glenn Allen Hill, who handles the outfielders, coaches first base for the Rockies. Assists Don Baylor with the hitters from time to time. Miguel Olivo will lead things off for the Rockies. Miguel has struck out twice against Brandon Morrow, once looking.
Miguel was ready for that 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
Here's the one-strike pitch to Olivo. Another fastball. And that ball's ripped to left. 2 hops, it kisses the wall, a double for Miguel. That average just keeps on climbing. He began the day at 320. It'll move up a couple of points.
Aceto Gas is coming out to make a double switch now. A slider that backed up, came inside, and we saw the strike zone early on Miguel. You leave that ball up, he's going to hit it. That ball was center cut. Turned on it to hit it to left field. 4th double on the season for Miguel.
So the Rockies chase Morrow. Jeremy Reed comes into the ball game. Tell you about the pitching change when we come back. The Rockies lead it 1-0. All right, this is wild. Watch this, folks. This is a moment ago. Sean Kemp. Hey, guess what? Yeah, we coming into the game. Everybody's got the left-hander. Everybody's waving their left hand. But Sean Kemp thinks, I'm coming in. Sean, you're right-handed. The manager wants the left-hander, David Percy. So he got all the way to the infield, and it's an embarrassing 200-yard, well, not quite 200 yards, but an embarrassing 200-foot jog back to the bullpen, where he will be ripped unmercifully. Now, Jeremy Reed's at first base. Jeremy Reed's an outfielder. So much so that when he went to first base for Lyle Overbay flipped him the glove like it's Little League. Like they only have one first baseman's glove.
They used to do that at the big league level, just drop their glove at a position. The other team went out there and got the glove, so they thought they were playing old school rules.
Now, he has not started at first base this year. He did have another situation where he went there earlier this season. So it's the second time all year he's been at first base. 7th time ever in his career he's been at first base. Tonight's call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. Here is David Percy to Ian Stewart in tight. Leadoff double by Miguel Olivo. Rockies trying to extend their lead.
And just a fourth appearance for Percy. He was down working at their AAA club, Las Vegas. Fastball, 88 to 92 miles an hour. We'll also throw a slider, changeup, and curveball. And Ian Stewart has to try to get something on the inside part that he can pull.
It's popped up foul ground, and it's going to stay in play. Encarnacion makes the catch.
Well, now I know with the double switch, you had the pitcher go, but I was seeing if Cito Gaston might not go to Sean Camp now to get Clint Barmas or walk him to see who, to see Jason Hamill up there. I bet you they go ahead and put him on. That's what they're going to do. I mean, with a guy like Clint Barmas batting 8th in the batting order, who leads all guys in that position in the major leagues with 26 RBIs, you have to walk him. Jim Tracy talking to Jason Hamill now with 1 out. You're still probably going to have him bunt.
Well, you're going to have him bunt, but what I'm thinking, you got a 1-run lead, it'd be ultra aggressive, and Jim Tracy has been a guy that's not afraid to do some things, particularly of late where the offense has been misfiring so much. If Miguel Olivo can get in the blind spot, depending on how hard they hold him on, with a left-hander on the mound and a 6'7" guy in the batter's box on the right side.
Well, the other thing he might be telling them too is, you know what, don't bunt into that wheel play. We saw a wheel play the other day against Houston. Don't bunt into that. If they do it, go ahead and pull the bat back. Try to, it's a slash it, just hit it on the ground, because there's going to be a lot of open holes out there.
And if you go wheel, Miguel Olivo, I mean, as a catcher, seen it enough that, and with his good speed, chase the shortstop.
Just take off with him. The other thing you have now, remember, Jeremy Reed over at first base is an outfielder. How's he going to react on this bunt if it comes over to first?
They were playing it in a conventional manner that time, the bunt defense.
The managers at times will switch up then their bunt coverage. You did a traditional the first time with 1 strike. You might run a wheel play. Good look here where the third baseman comes in. Shortstop goes over towards third base.
And that's a great bunt. A great bunt that time by Hamill. And Olivo to third, Barmas to second. 2 outs, and Johnny Herrera will come up. And he'll hit from the right side against the left-handed Percy.
Perfect execution from Jason Hamill. Don't bunt into the guy that's charging at first base. Bunt over to third base for your 4th sacrifice bunt on the season.
This will be the first time that Herrera this year is hit from the right side in the big leagues.
And he's also a guy, don't forget, Drew, that could possibly push bunt one past the pitcher with Reed over at first base.
Yeah, you got a lefty falling off the mound of the third base side, and you have an inexperienced first baseman. That's a great call. Now, you hit lefty, but did you find it in talking to guys that would do that from the right side? Is that easier or harder?
Easier.
Because you can stay right with it.
Everything, yeah. All you have to do is create your angle, and then you just follow it. You don't have to do anything different. You don't have to try to deaden it. You actually want to hold the bat a little bit tighter to push it that way, just to get it past the pitcher.
In there for a strike on Johnny. Johnny is 0 for 3 in the game. A pop to short, ground ball to second, and a line drive to right. Outfield is really shortened up. Wells in center and Batista in right. On the play. If Johnny Herrera throws out a base hit here, that would be enormous. Good speed on board. Barmes the trail run.
The Rockies 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position tonight. One of their problems has been here in June with runners in scoring position, just hitting 203. Andrew McGill, anticipate a ball in the dirt right now if he spikes that curveball.
Almost loaded the bases for help. Looked like a cutter, and it came very close to nicking Johnny Herrera.
And that's what Benji's saying right now. Okay, remember the guy that's on deck. You know, Jose's out there talking to him and saying, wait, let's try to get this guy. You already have him 1-2.
Two on Herrera. The Rockies score a lot of their runs in the first 5 innings. And late, they've been outscored almost 2-1, 8th inning on. And easy play for Reed. Rockies will leave 2 in scoring position. We'll go to the 8th inning. The Rockies have the only run tonight. 1-0. Rockies up 1-0, top of the 8th inning. This date in history is brought to you by Dex One, Marketing Solutions Business Results. June the 12th, 1997. After 126 years of big league play, the first interleague game is played. Glen Allen Hill became the National League's first DH. An hour later, the Rockies play Seattle. Don Baylor uses Dante Bichette as the Rockies' first DH. Bichette went 3 for 5. Glen Allen Hill 0 for 3 and a sac fly. And now you know
the rest of the story.
Edwin Encarnacion against Jason Hamill, and he takes strike 1. Hamill's been filling up the strike zone all night. He's allowed 2 hits, a double leading off the game by Fred Lewis on a ball nearly caught by Ryan Spilborghs, and a bloop single by Alex Gonzalez. Other than that, he had an intentional walk with 2 outs in the 5th, and a walk to Fred Lewis on a 3-2 pitch in the 6th.
15 for 25 of first pitch strikes for Jason.
And a very low pitch count, 86. The 0-2's up high, 1-2. And this is a guy that after the first hitter of the game, 2 pitches into Aaron Hill's at bat, the second hitter of the ball game, Scott Garrett, the Rockies trainer, was out looking at him, and it looked like he maybe had strained the groin muscle again. And in the Rockies bullpen, the phone rang, and Franklin Morales immediately started stretching quickly. It looked like we were going to have a situation where the starting pitcher didn't record an out. And here he is working in the 8th. Here's the 1-2.
Heads up, Bob Apodaca. That was just such a late swing by Encarnacion that it sailed right into the dugout.
Two and two.
I just think the way Jason's worked with Miguel Olivo tonight, very rarely do you see a shakeoff by Jason. They've been on that same wavelength, and he's been able to put those pitches right where he wants, them. Going back with the 12-6 hard curveball down into the zone.
Pulled over the head of Barnes. Third hit of the ball game. And the tying run is on. That'll bring up Jose Molina. Tonight's Delivery of the Game brought to you by Jimmy John's. Now Jason Hamill has delivered all night long. Last few starts have been terrific. I look at strikeout to walk ratio. I know you do, Jeff. Coming into the ball game, he's 42 strikeouts, 14 walks. So that's 3-1 right there. But almost 5-1 over his last few starts.
And he's got that big, powerful arm, and that's where it should be tonight. 5 ground ball outs, 5 strikeouts, 10 fly outs, and don't forget that caught stealing of Fred Lewis back in the 6th. Talked about Jose Molina. All 3 Molina brothers play today. Yadier already, and Benji's playing tonight. Well, because Cito Gaston had the double switch last inning, they had Jeremy Reed now is in the number 9 spot. You can go ahead and bunt your 8-hole hitter. But Joe Beimel is up and tossing out in the pen just for that reason.
Well, he's going to get to it, but he's got no play on Encarnacion. So the sacrifice by Molina, 3 unassisted.
Well, and an interesting decision here, too, because you've got lefties back-to-back in Reed and Lewis, but Jason Hamill has been pitching so well. Well, what do you do? And that's why Cito Gaston went with Mike McCoy, former Rocky, to go out and pinch run for Encarnacion.
Yeah, Mike was with the Sky Sox last year and was up late in the year for a little bit. In there for a strike. Good pitch.
Fans, get your ticket for the July 2nd fireworks and stay for the post-game fireworks courtesy of Lockheed Martin. July 2nd game against the Giants.
And it's 0-2.
Clint Barmas is right in the back pocket of Mike McCoy out at second base. I don't know if Jason's not afraid to do the quick move if you get a daylight. The other thing it does, it makes that third base coach and Brian Butterfield be aware of where that shortstop is and have to shorten up your lead a little bit.
0-2, see you later. 2 outs. Big punch out there. 93-mile-an-hour fastball has Jeremy Reed talking to himself.
Just a straight four-seamer with a little run on it. Hit it if you can, and he just blew it by Jeremy Reed.
And here's another difficult decision, because Fred Lewis has owned Jason Hamill. 7 for 9 with a walk.
Yeah, but now with the Bob Apodaca going out there, he has to pitch to him.
Betancourt and Bible getting loose.
Betancourt's the only one up tossing now. Bimel's all ready to go. But his spots are kind of gone because you don't have the lefties anymore after Lewis. You got all right-handers.
Hill, Batista, and Wells, and Gonzalez. 2 outs. Here's Lewis, outside and high. Fred a double, a deep fly ball to right field, and a walk. Aaron Hill on deck, a strikeout, a ground out, and a comeback. Staying away from him. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up, with the unintentional, intentional walk. You put the go-ahead run on and go pitch to the slumping Aaron Hill.
And just looking at the numbers for Aaron Hill against Betancourt, if you decide to go that route, it's just 1 for 5.
You know what? Again, I'd still let Hamill go get it, because Hamill's handled it. And now it's 3-0. Go ahead and put him on.
Just stand up, put the glove out.
No, maybe not. You watch where he sets up, though. He's probably not even going to set up on the plate. With all due respect to Fred Lewis, I don't think he owns too many guys, but he's had great numbers in his career against Hamill. So Hamill basically just passes on Lewis. And here comes Hill, who's handled 3 times tonight. And also, not the worst thing in the world. You have options on a ground ball to third near the bag. If you're Ian Stewart, you just run over there and tag it with the force all around.
Well, the other thing, too, is you have, if he hits one in the hole, Clint Barmas can throw to third base.
Yep.
So you have that option as well. And you can back up a little bit deeper now. You at least knock the ball down. If that ball is hit on the ground, you have to dive to try to keep it in the infield.
Oh, 0-1. Repair that chip in your windshield. Call Safelite Elite Auto Glass 303-287-5000. Safelite.com is how you reach them online.
Aaron Hill this year with 2 outs and runners in scoring position is just a 105 average.
All-star last year for the first time in his career. Struggling at the plate this year. And is that in there? No, it wasn't in there, and no swing, according to Todd Tishner. 1 ball, 1 strike. At second base is Mike McCoy running for Edwin Encarnacion, who singled to lead off the inning. Fred Lewis just walked.
Good speed both places.
And the slider freezes Hill. 1-2.
Away. And they kind of got a little bit lucky with that slider. It stayed up in the zone, but it just froze Hill so much he couldn't even pull the trigger.
Hamill ahead, 1-2 on the former LSU Tiger, Aaron Hill. Off off of Miguel Oliva.
But that's exactly where Miguel wanted that pitch. He wanted that fastball up. He kind of gave him the old Yogi Berra up high, right off the top of the bat, off the mask. Slow it down on that Hyundai cam. You just see how much it rattles. Kind of the whole jaw face area.
Go slider away or heater up?
I don't make him. I go slider away. I don't want to make a mistake up to Aaron Hill. If I make a mistake, I want it to be away from him.
Slider away, and it's a fly ball to shallow center field. There's Cargo, and that puts down the inning. Jason Hamill, 8 gorgeous innings. 1-0 Colorado. Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. You know, this is an old-fashioned pitcher's duel, and Jason Hamill has outdone Brandon Morrow slightly. In fact, we'll see the third pitcher now for Toronto. Todd Helton, his 519th career double, a smidgen short of a home run. And the only ribby tonight, Carlos Gonzalez's sac fly in the 6th inning. It'll be Helton, Gonzalez, and Brad Hopp. 3 straight lefties, and it'll be the veteran left-hander Scott Downs making his 31st appearance for Toronto.
311th in a Toronto Blue Jays uniform, just 2 games shy now of Roy Halladay for 8th on the all-time list.
The new third baseman is Mike McCoy. He pinch ran for Encarnacion. So McCoy at third, and Helton, who's 2 for 3 tonight. Inside ball 1. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Now 4th inning. Todd Helton hits one a ton to right center field, and it goes off the very top of the fence. It's about 390 feet. He's ahead now 2-0 on downs, and then the line single in the 6th inning. After a Jason Hamill walk and a line out by Johnny Herrera made it 1st and 3rd and set the stage for Gonzalez's sac fly to right. So Todd has hit the ball hard twice tonight. And that's a comeback. And that'll bring up Gonzalez.
Hey fans, don't forget, on June 23rd, 15,000 fans will receive a Carlos Gonzalez t-shirt courtesy of FSN Rocky Mountain right here at Coors Field.
Here's Cargo. And he tried to drag his way on. That got Mike McCoy's attention a little bit late. 0-1.
And Aaron Hill over at second base. Jeremy Reed at first. Scott Downs, fastball, curveball, slider. So when he first came up, there's one of those things: is he going to be a starter, going to be a reliever? He tried him as a starter with the Cubs, didn't work out. Now he's settled into this relieving role.
He was originally a third-round pick. That's in there for a strike. It's 0-2. And he was briefly with the Cubs, but he spent most of his career north of the border, Montreal, and the last several years with Toronto. And another broken bat, and it's a base hit. Carlos Gonzalez, he'll shatter some bats because he's got such a long swing, but he covers the plate and about 5 inches into the batter's box on the other side.
Yeah, and that's why he hits it off the end of the bat sometimes, because he does have so much plate coverage, Drew. They wanted the ball down and away from him, left up and in a little bit. And that time he was left with a little bit more of the bat handle than he was before. But you know what? He'll take 2 broken bats because he has an RBI and a base hit.
Brad Hopp at the plate, 0 for 2 and a walk for Bradley. That's a strike. Fans, if you'd like to receive a text message alert when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies Taco Special from Taco Bell, text the keyword taco to 95323. 1-0, bottom of 8. Rockies since 2006, 42-25 against the American League. Not only is that the best mark of any National League club, it's the 4th best interleague mark. But here's the amazing thing. They're the only National League team above 500 against the American League since 2006. The only one.
Yeah, Minnesota, the Tigers, Red Sox, Angels, all those clubs. When you take a look there, everybody talk about the AL's dominance over the NL. Well, it hasn't been the case for the Rockies.
You know, and the Rockies, see that list? They have to play 3 of those 4 teams this year. The Twins in a few days. The Red Sox will come here. And the Rockies go to Anaheim. Get away from Mike McCoy. Good effort by McCoy. Costs Brad a bat. 1-2.
It was a couple of years ago when the Rockies went to Boston. Remember, Josh Beckett was undefeated at the time. They beat him.
They took 2 of 3 from Boston. The 3rd game, I think, was a 1-run game. That was the year they swept the Yankees
here
at Coors Field. One out. Cargo at first. 1-2 on Hop. Down still has a pretty quick arm, doesn't he?
He does. He gets. I mean, it didn't seem that hard velocity-wise. It was 89 miles an hour, but by the time it came out of his glove to deliver it, very short, very quick. And when it's like that as a hitter, it adds about 5 or 6 miles an hour onto a fastball.
Gonzalez takes off. Molina's throw is not in time. Oh, that was a great transition by Jose Molina. And Gonzalez able to swipe the bag. Cito Gaston did not agree. It's the 8th stolen base for Carlos Gonzalez, and he is out there for Brad Hopp. Andy Fletcher made the call.
I'm not sure what Cito's arguing, unless he's just going out there to kind of protect his shortstop. And Gonzalez, as soon as that leg comes up, slider away. Gonzalez then heads first, but he goes to the backside of the bag. He goes to the outside part, and we'll get a look from the Hyundai cam. Did his hand get in before the tag was applied?
Wow. That is pretty close. That's a great job by Molina to take a pitch low and away.
And to put it right on the money.
Right on the money. I can't tell. Can you?
I couldn't tell from that. And just the way the slide was, the way he kind of went out, it gives the impression to the umpire that he's into the bag before the glove gets down there.
Maybe that old tie goes to the runner, huh? 3-2, and this is Luke Fallon out of play.
But I like the aggressiveness from Carlos. Go ahead and take a shot because you're trying to get one more run. You pick a pitch that you think is a breaking count, and that's what he did. I mean, all of that with the slider, the breaking pitch, and yet it was still a close play.
On the pitching front, Manuel Corpus got up through a couple, but he's not up now. Hamill's at 105 pitches. It may be his game. He's got a 1-0 shutout going, and this is fouled off again.
You know what? The way he's been able to handle Batista Wells, why not? 105 pitches. He got back up again. Manuel did.
Most pitches that Hamill's thrown since coming off the disabled list. Not the most he's thrown in a game this year. That's 117. Here's another 3-2. Outside, and it gets away. Gonzalez moves to third. That is large. As Hop goes to first, Spilborg's coming up. And now a fly ball gives the Rockies an insurance run here in the bottom of the 8th. And Cito Gaston is going to go get a right-hander to face Spilborgs. Let's check in with Mark Stout for tonight's Great Colorado Payback Sideline Report.
Hey, Drew, over the past couple of nights, Ryan Spilborg's 4 hits, robbed of another one in the hole tonight. I asked him before yesterday's game, I said, has your approach changed? He stopped. He said, look, my approach has not changed. My approach is always to hit the ball up the middle and try to go up through the pitcher. He said, yes, I had some mechanical problems, got into bad habits, tweaked that. His front arm was a little bit too stiff. He said his swing was too long, so he shortened it up. And Huey, you can elaborate on that, but that's all he said he's been doing. He even said last year when he hit that big home run against the Giants, the walk-off slam, he said he's swinging the bat better now than at that point, guys.
Well, and the thing, too, for that, Mark, is when you feel like you don't have that bend on that front arm, we call it a barring out of that arm. And when you bar out, then all of a sudden, that takes a long time to get back to the plate. And so Ryan worked on that and said, you know what, I got to make sure that I keep it there and not get that barring out of that lead elbow.
Well,
that's a big thing right here, to keep that L shape. Instead, what he was talking about is he was getting here with that elbow. And when you do that, it causes you to get real long all the way through, and then the barrel starts to work underneath the ball.
And a muscle-bound swing.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Keep it right here. Now you can take it right to the ball.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Sean Camp's going to come in the game, and he's not going to have to make a U-turn.
This time for sure.
This time, Cito Gaston actually wanted him in the game. Ryan Spilborgs will be the hitter. First and third for the Rockies with 1 out. Spilborg's 1 for 3 in the ball game, robbed of another hit. Will be the 29th appearance for Camp, and he's done a pretty decent job with inherited runners.
And that's the reason why now Cito Gaston is really using him as his setup guy when they have an opportunity to close with Kevin Gregg. He is the 8th inning guy to go out there because of the inherited runners. Fastball is not overpowering. Averages about 88 miles an hour, but a very, very good changeup to follow it up. An occasional slider.
Yeah, Ryan Spilborgs last night got the Rockies on the board fairly early on. It's a Colorado Lottery replay. He was behind in the counter. Ricky Romero 0-2. And that was a very good swing. With the hands as he drives it inside out the other way. A reminder from now through the end of the month, replay any of your non-winning scratch tickets in a second chance drawing. Do it at coloradolottery.com. Carlos Gonzalez singled, stole second, moved to third on a wild pitch. Brad Hopp, after a lengthy battle, walked against Scott Downs. Here we go. It's Camp versus Spilborgs. And that's in the dirt. 1-0.
Well, if there's one guy you want up there for the Rockies, it's going to be Ryan Spilborgs. With those numbers, with runners in scoring position.
389 will work.
You have to stay back because this is where Camp goes soft a lot of times. The soft meaning the changeup, the slider. He's not going to give you the fastball. If he does, it's just going to be a show pitch. I want you to try to reach for it to roll over.
It's fouled off Spilborg's foot, so it's 1-1. He is out there to try to get a ground ball.
Take a peek in at Molina to see what he wants to do. Get the fastball in first and now go away with it.
That's a strike. It's 1-2.
But I guarantee in that situation that Ryan was sitting on the changeup because it was a fastball, a good hitting count, but sitting on the changeup.
And Spilborg's unable to make contact, and now it'll be left to Miguel Olivo.
This time he didn't sit on the changeup. Just a circle change. You throw it down into the zone and perfect location right where Molina wanted it.
Now Miguel, a double his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Olivo. I know the air's a little heavier tonight and the wind's kind of blowing in. I'm just surprised how shallow Vernon Wells is playing and Jose Bautista in center and right. Typically typically Olivo will pull the baseball. But we've seen him go to right center field.
Well, especially with 2 outs and with runners in scoring position hitting over 300. That he'll start to look that way just a little bit more.
One and 2 on Miguel.
Pretty good numbers with the 11 RBIs with 2 outs. Your focus needs to be just a little bit more sharp.
Now Camp, who's not a big strikeout guy, strikes out Spilborgs and Olivo with runners at first and third. Rockies will take a 1-0 lead in the 9th. By Dex One Marketing Solutions Business Results. By Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Hyundai. Hyundai was just named the most fuel-efficient car in America. Visit your Colorado Hyundai dealer today. Now, we were wondering if we'd get this one in. It has not rained at all, though there's kind of a mist now here as we've arrived at the 9th inning. 1-0 Rockies. Manuel Corpus will try to get the final 3 outs. For a preview of what's to come afterward, again, we check in with Tom Helmer. Tom?
Drew, after the ball game, we'll talk about our sub stop. Clint Barmas doing a great job filling in for Tulowitzki. Arm Hamill, Jason Hamill, a great performance today. And mending fences. Todd Helton straightening out his swing. And also, we need to mend that fence in right field that's throwing home runs back. We'll get that fixed. But nice night so far for the Rockies. We'll see if it continues in this half inning. Drew?
That was a great night, Tom, for Jason Hamill. 8 shutout innings. He allowed only 3 hits. One of the hits a bloop single. 3 walks. One of those walks intentional. 6 strikeouts. So Manuel Corpus is on, looking for his 8th save of the year. The league's hitting just $180 against him. Jose Bautista, the 3-hole hitter, who is a big swing guy. He lays off the first pitch slider.
That 7th save that Manuel had came back last Monday against the Houston Astros.
Another slider, this one at the knees, 1-1.
Keep pounding that area away from Bautista, down and around the knees on the outside part of the plate, because he's trying to hook everything into the stands and left.
2-1. Barmas way over in the hole. Stewart naturally guarding the line at third. Johnny Herrera, the second baseman, shaded way up the middle.
And the outfielders have moved back too, because you want no doubles in this situation. You'll give up the little bloop single if you have to, but not the double.
This is in the air to right, and now Pop has to go back. He sees it and makes the catch. 1 out, and Corpus continues to retire the leadoff man. He's done it 29 of 35 times this year.
Doesn't get any easier with Vernon Wells now. We talked about Vernon and all his extra base hits.
Foul out, fly ball center field, and a pop to the pitcher. Three right-handed bats for Corpus. Righties are 11 for 77 against him.
Hey, Rockies fans, send your favorite Rockies to this year's All-Star game by voting at ColoradoRockies.com.
To short.
Nice hit by Todd, too.
2 outs. Two outs, and Alex Gonzalez coming up for Toronto. Crowd standing, a crowd of more than 26,000 on a very chilly June evening. Temperature at game time just 51 degrees. Those who have come have been rewarded with an outstanding pitching effort from Jason Hamill. And Manuel Corpus trying to save it for him. Gonzalez 1 for 3. Robbed of a hit his last time up on a sensational play by Clint Barmas, who's made a couple of terrific ones tonight.
Hey, Clint's back over in that hole again of Gonzalez on the pull side.
Missed 2-0. Look at the reaction of Manuel.
You got to remember that Tim McClellan's about 6'6", so he's typically a high ball umpire. And one down, sometimes he's tough for him to get down and see that one.
Getting that one.
It's the same spot, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that may have been a little bit lower. I guess not. It was right on. You're right. It was right on top of the second pitch. 2-1.
Go out there again.
Adam Lynn is out in the on-deck circle.
Well, and I was just looking down in the bullpen now. Michael Morales is up. Joe Beimel had been up earlier for Lynn, who would be hitting in the pitcher's spot.
On Gonzalez. hard hit ball, a base hit. Spilborghs will try to keep Gonzalez from going for 2, and he makes a very accurate throw. He was way over in left center field.
And Gonzalez did not run hard out of the box. He didn't start running hard until 10 steps into it. The pitch from Manuel tried to go away, cut back over inner half, and he turned on it. With Ian Stewart playing closer to the line, if it's a normal game and not late in it, that's a line drive right to him.
Well, Adam Lynn comes up, having a disappointing year so far. Last year he hit .305. This year he's hit .210, but he has a lot of pop. 8 home runs, 31 driven in.
Well, coming into this year, he was a career .279 hitter at the major league level in over 7 years.
He's 3 for his last 30 at the plate. 0 for 3 last night.
7 for 56. Going even further back.
Yeah. But all that doesn't matter at all. It's about this at bat right now. Rockies looking for the 27th out. Time run at first in Gonzalez. And Lynn swings through the first offering. A fastball at 91.
And that movement going away from Lynn.
Herrera is swung over in the hole, playing almost straight up the middle is Barnes. Helton has to hold on Gonzalez with just a 1-run lead. And this is right at Barnes. He's got to go the long way. He Rockies win at 1-0. Only the 9th 1-0 game in the history of Coors Field. And for the Rockies, their 8th shutout of the year. That ties an all-time mark. And here we are on June the 12th. What a performance by Jason Hamill. 8 shutout innings. He allows just 3 measly hits. He improves to